because these monsters don't really deserve the respect that those dying kids gave them in their dying breaths.
NANI?! Dynamite! Dynamite!
Oh yeah, I need a Batman today. You gonna be my Batwoman today? Clap it up for Batwoman. She doesn't get the respect she deserves. But I could be the sidekick of my own show. I don't know, I'm not opposed to it. But let's take it from the top, shall we? Hey guys, how you doing? My name's Cyril. This is the Identity Booth, and this is the things we forgot to tell you last week. As it has been for the past month now, we have had to cover the story of Uvalde. And normally when a mass shooting happens in this country, it's kind of swept under the rug after the first few cycles. People get all their clicks in. But this story continues to give us more and more information, and it gives us a baseline of understanding about, one, the corruption that is just rampant in even the most small, hunky-dory ass towns, two, the unreliability of the police, and three, I think really the most upsetting part is just their inability to help anyone. So we get more information here on the Uvalde shooting. Quiet down, Siri. Uvalde shooting, gunman could have been stopped within 3 minutes, safety officials say. This is incredible. And before I even say anything, I want you to think back to a week after the shooting, right? A week after the shooting, people, they were saying things like the cops were pinned down. They didn't have any way to get in. They needed help. They needed resources. Nothing was there. Nothing was available. They didn't have the ballistics. They didn't have the key to get in. Like, these are the things they said. They didn't have the key to get into the room. That's false, because all doors lock from the outside. They said that the teacher left the door that the shooter used to get in propped open. They ran the video on that. Door was shut down. We then said collectively as a group, hey, we give 40% of the taxpayers' money in this community to the police. Hey, can we get the body footage? The police lawyer up. They hire a private law firm using your taxpayer dollars to deny you something you, by law, constitutionally, have the right to. That camera was bought with public money, and the video footage is designed to keep the public safe. They said it would cause the officers who were wearing them emotional distress to have to relive those moments. No one's asked you to relive those moments. Give us the fucking tape. But there might be a reason why they don't want us to know too much. They might have a reason for us not want to ask too many questions. And just take one look at this picture.
I don't know how to respond.
One look at this picture, and it tells you everything you need to know. The classrooms are on the right-hand side. The classroom in question is on the right-hand side. They were in the building 3 minutes after, and based on this timeline, this is a picture that was taken 19 minutes in. 30 minutes in, they said they didn't have the proper equipment. He has all the body armor in the world. He has a body armor on. And there's a ballistic shield right there. That means they were listening to these kids cry out for help, be shot, and even had the time and opportunity to reload while they were standing here. And I am the biggest scam in the world. Police departments. Since Columbine, the gold standard of stopping an active shooter is push, attack. You are instructed to jump over bleeding bodies. You are instructed to jump over people reaching and calling for your help. Your objective, one, is to stop killing, because once you stop killing, you stop victims, you save lives. And look at them sitting here waiting for instructions. And I want you to hear something. Even if their excuse was, I was waiting for instructions from the commander, there's only two instructions he would give you. There's only two possible instructions. One, do nothing. Two, do something. And this is where critical thinking is important. And this is what we say. Police can't even do their job correctly. We're expecting them to go out here, be guidance counselors, social workers, domestic dispute handlers. They can't even do this part. When given an option, because even let's say hypothetically speaking, they disobeyed the order to stand down. What's the crime here? Disobedience. In retrospect, everything's easier to see, right? Everything's easier to see. Our news keeps rolling out about this. It gets worse, yes, and it's crazy because the police look like the community, so they can say it's solely about race. Oh my goodness, that's such a great point, Keisha. That is such a great point, because I often say whenever I see a minority in the police force, I say to myself, how much of your soul did you sell for them to accept you? Because if you really is about that life, if you really one of those people, if you really about that life, they would have found a way to get rid of you. Like me, when I started looking into how certain officers kept getting drug related crimes attached to all their subjects, and I started weighing out drugs that were supposed to be held in our evidence locker, and they always came up short. They removed me. They moved me to ticketing. But this picture right here, while this picture is like, okay, this is without context. This is them strapped and ready for arms. This was a second image taken where they have everybody. He has a helmet on. They have 2 ballistic shields now. This was about approximately 10 minutes later. Still not a move, not an inch. One of the officers had their kids in the school still. He left this waiting area to go find his kid and come back, get his kid out, then come back here and wait. And I want to give this aspect of the story. Because these monsters don't really deserve the respect that those dying kids gave them in their dying breaths. I want to put this into perspective for you. They stayed there for 91 minutes and did nothing. That means those kids who were in the school calling police, crying, hiding themselves, putting blood on their face so they wouldn't be shot, they sat there thinking, oh my goodness, the reason why they haven't saved us yet is because there's probably multiple shooters. Oh my goodness. I can't believe like the police are fighting so hard that they can't get here. There must be so many people trying to stop the police from coming to save us. Like those kids as they're dying, as young as they are, and you can't tell me they're not equipped for this, because we talked to one of the kids after the shooting and how he said, you know, I know the police were trying the best they could. Like those kids died with positive imagery of probably like thinking the police were fighting the hardest to get to their kids, when in reality they're camped out doing this. I hope their punishment in hell is to have to relive the 91 minutes that they subjugated those kids to, because within 3 minutes he definitely, I think in 3 minutes, if my memory serves me correctly about the report I read, he had only managed to take out the teachers and one student. So there could have been a host of kids that would have made it. Keisha says, I mean, it really just looks like they waited, and it's like, why? We know a lot can happen in under a minute, and was half an hour. Yeah, it's unexcusable. They'll try and make an excuse for this, right? They're gonna tell us every storybook, but the fact that they don't even want to talk about it no more. Can we move on? You're hurting the feelings of our officers. Kids are dead. Kids are gone. And somebody was asking me this the other day. What's the biggest scam you've ever seen? What's the biggest scam that is constantly reinforced and told us that we need and we do? And some people said insurance. Someone said 18-year-olds being held accountable for loans that they signed at the age of 18 for student loans and stuff like that. And I said the police, because not for nothing, black folks have been telling y'all police ain't done shit for us since day one. And now you're starting to realize police ain't gonna do shit for you, because policing is a culture. And as much as you sit here and think that your police are different, if they had a chance, they'd eat you alive. Because these are brown police officers. These are brown police officers. And they let their brown kids die. They took 40% of the tax dollars. 40% of the tax dollars that would have been used to just, maybe have an armed security guard in front of the school. 40% of the tax dollars that could have probably been used to get the shooter some mental health evaluations. But they let this happen to their own. And I'm here to tell you, you see a black police officer, you see a Mexican police officer, Chinese police officer, they've sold their soul to get to that position. They've sold their soul to get to that position. If they do their job joyfully, they feel like they're one of them. So don't put your trust in them. Don't put your trust in them.